Hey. Alright, we'll try land battle replays again. Usually I don't do these on my channel, but we'll see how these go. If people seem to like it or they get good views, we'll keep doing them. If not, I'll just not do them. I got my paintbrush stuff for replays, which is nice. So for the Wood Elves, we have a little bit of a unique build here. Triple Sisters of the Thorn. Now they got a little bit of changes. Shield of Thorns and Curse of Honor here. Shield of Thorns became, instead of physical resistance, just melee damage reflection. That is new. Other than that, we have 2 Wild Riders, 2 Glade Riders, a front line of entirely Dryads. We have Orion, Master of the Wild Hunt, interesting pick, and a Brantraith with Melkots and Earthblood. Orion is an interesting pick here. He does have anti-large and arm piercing, so I guess it works. I'm just so used to seeing the Sisters of Twilight. They are uncontested in the sky from the Beastmen. The Beastmen can't really field a legitimate threatening air force against them. So Sisters can consistently snipe out the Beastmen, Lords and Casters and whatnot. For the Beastmen, we do have a front line of Ungors mixed between Spears and Non, some Razor Gores in the back line, triple Ungor Raiders, 2 Chaos Warhounds, and 4 Centigores. That's all well and good. We do have a Wilds caster with Traderkin and Devolve, and then Torox the Brass Bull with Brass Body and even Rune Tortured Actions. Alright. Dryad frontline is generally effective. You'll see Wood Elves take this a lot versus factions that don't have particularly strong frontlines. Their combat stats are meh, but they do have 60 armor. They have Vanguard, they cause fear, and they have physical resistance, so if you might win the frontline, then taking Dryads can be rather effective. I like the Beastman players build a lot. I don't particularly love how there's no integration of units. Like Razor Gores, all 3 Razor Gores are all together with no support. Okay? We have Centigores all together, no extra support. We have Dogs together. Like, I would much prefer that maybe if you're going to do this Vanguard flank, like have 2 Centigores, 1 Dog, 2 Centigores, 1 Dog, each side of there. Razor Gores, if you're really going to use them for armor piercing, they're going to have to either go up through their front line and support that, mulch down some of the Dryads with their heavy armor, or be again mixed in with the Centigores, like maybe 1 Centigore, 1 Dog there, 1 Centigore, 1 Razor Gore here, 1 Centigore, 1 Dog over here, 1 Centigore, 1 Razor Gore over here or something. But right now they're all alone, so they're all doing the same thing, and they're all countered the same way. So if you can get arrows and anti-large cav all attacking them over here, they are going to die rather swiftly, which the Sisters of the Thorn are going to kite them out, and Wild Riders will even swoop in and get some good value. So Beastmen are already losing on that front. Frontline individually is going well for each individual Dryad, but there are more Beastmen around. We can see there's random Ungor herds just chilling. We do also have Archer support. But the Wood Elves have more elite... Yeah, I wouldn't say mobile superiority, but they do have more elite mobile units in the Sisters of the Thorn and the Wild Riders. The Beastmen just have a crap ton of mobile units, but they're all not that great. We can see we've already lost 1 Razor Gore herd. The other one is rampaging after a Glade Rider Spear, and that unit alone is cheaper than it. And Sisters of the Thorn are actually just going to take a fight with Shield of Thorns active. I'm not sure how good melee damage reflection even is, in all honesty. It doesn't seem to do too much. The Sisters of the Thorn do have nice stats, plus some Earthblood casts. They'll do alright. Some Centigores are getting pushed off by Wild Riders plus Sisters of the Thorn. Meanwhile, Orion just attack moved on to Torox Brass Bull, and Torox is going to take that fight. So it looks like those two will go back and forth. On paper, you'd think Orion would win it with anti-large, armor piercing, and his own healing if he gets low enough, but you never know. Betting against Torox is a risky move. Sisters of the Thorn just all going to take the fight. They are skirmish cav no longer. They will beat down these Centigores easy clap. 24-28 melee stats versus 34-33. So Sisters are surprisingly good in melee combat if you aren't used to that sort of thing. Now they do have Wood Elf problems of just getting dragged down and only having 15 armor, but still. If you treat them as skirmish cav and you commit with a couple Centigores, you are going to have a bad time. Dogs tried to fight Dryads, but the Dryad 60 armor is keeping them alive, and some Glade Rider Spears are able to countercharge and push them off. And meanwhile, the Beastmen Archer Corps is just now starting to get compromised. We have some Dryads fighting over here, trying to kill off the Ungor Raiders, other Ungor Raiders, rounding off, so they're doing alright. Wood Elves are slightly ahead on the balance of power. I would tend to agree, especially with these Sisters of Thorn having so much ammunition that they can eventually go back to kiting. Wild Riders joining the fight against Torox. It looks like Torox was beating down Orion, and now it's even moved on to the Brantraith. So unfortunately, Orion is not doing his job versus Torox. Still think the Sisters might be a better choice, because I think the Sisters are even cheaper than Orion, just kind of the fucked up part. Beastmen are getting a bit of a second wind, charging in here, fighting Wild Riders to the death, but it's looking a little bleak, in my opinion. These dogs near the edge of the map and all super low in leadership. Gladars and Spears might be able to clean up all of them. There's still a lot of Dryads who are rather healthy, so the Wood Elves won the front line. They won the side engagements. The only thing they debatably lost was the Lord fight, and that's still ongoing, with healing available for the Wood Elves and not available for the Beastmen. So I don't think Orion was a great counterpick into Torox, but the rest of the build was really good. I've really liked the Sisters play here. It's just felt like the Beastmen didn't have a lot they could do about it. They needed some spell support. Maybe Traderkins, but that got nerfed against Cavalry, but some Devolves, or maybe bring a different caster, like Pit of Shades caster, or Enfeebling Foe on them or something. I don't know. But these guys are MVPs right now. Now they just have ammo to poke in. They still do poison damage, right? Yeah, so they're poisoning everything they shoot. All that aside, balance of power is still even, though it largely favors the Beastmen in most situations, so if the Beastmen are even at this point in the game, it usually means they're actually behind. Orion and Torox are near the same health, and Orion is the one that's healing up. What was that? Devolve find the cast on Sisters of the Thorn, but it's not going to be enough. There's nothing here that really does a lot of damage to them. Orion's still poking away at Torox. The rest of the Beastman forces do need to rally. We do have a rather healthy Umbra Raider, but he's way out of position. He's not in range to do much of anything. Sisters of the Thorn going to rout off the Brave Shame of the Wilds. No more magical support, and Torox is still giving Orion the business, who now has some melee damage reflection. Hurrah! Very exciting. Said nobody ever. But Orion's unbreakable. Torox is not. Torox takes a nasty shot, and that'll really tank down his leadership. He's also getting shot in the butt by Sisters of the Thorn. What else pull ahead on the balance of power pretty significantly? Torox is going to rout. Torox is going to run. Orion is going to massively whiff a shot, but it will not matter as the Sisters of the Thorn gun down Torox on his way out. Orion readies another spear, but it's too late. Without the leadership, Beastmen will all start rallying. No, not rallying. The opposite of rallying. Routing. And that'll be army losses. Interesting build of the Wood Elves. Orion got 1900 value. Branch Wraith didn't get very much, but she was throwing out Earthbloods like nobody's business. Dryads all did very, very well against the Beastmen. Sisters of the Thorn did just fine. Gladar Spears did great. Wild Riders did great. I think I already mentioned them, so... yeah, everything besides the Lord in this army is quite good. Torox did his best, so did the Shadows caster. Well, Wild caster. Centaurs, honestly, considering their price point's only 700, they did fine. Razorgors did okay, too. Again, considering their price point. So did the Archers. Where did it go wrong for the Beastmen? Dogs weren't able to accomplish much. They were there in case of Archers, so I don't hate the build. And the front line didn't do great. Yeah. I think this build is fine. Razorgors in case of like a tree box. Archers too in case of a tree box. Archers in case of air spam. Centaurs and dogs to chase down Archers. I think the build was okay. I would maybe, as we suggested in the game, I would maybe change the caster to something that has a little more buff or debuff. Or use Devolve more aggressively to win those Sisters of the Thorn fight, because Beastmen heavily committed to the mobile game and then lost it, which is a damn shame. Also, splitting up your resources so everything has a little bit of something, like all of your armor-piercing Razorgors getting singled out at the start of the game and getting mostly murdered was not ideal. And then Centaurs, too. It's just kind of like, well, if you put everything that does the same thing next to each other, either they're going to fit like a key into a lock and do the good thing, or if the lock isn't quite right, they're all just going to die. And if what you needed is on the other side of the map, that's not very good. All right. Roar. Subscribe, yes, yes.